Okay, before we proceed to the call, uh, let me first of all appreciate the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria for giving us this opportunity for looking to our welfareism and our they have been trying so far ever since we start this promotion exercise. They have been supportive to make sure that every one of us participated in this promotion series, lecture series. So before we start anything, I will call on Mr. Balogun, the chairman of the association, to give us opening remark and appreciate our Mr. Balogun. Unmute yourself, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you very much. First of all, I want to use this opportunity to thank and appreciate our Oga, Mr. Bangboye. I know it was very difficult to get him to do this, and he acceded to our request. Oga, I want to thank you so much for the opportunity you have given to us, and you have always been there for us. We quite appreciate your support for coming at this time to do this for us. I want to appreciate you, and also to the coordinator of Knowledge Hub for probably doing this for us, because it's a platform we are using, because it was going to be very difficult for us to gather everybody at the physical meeting, and moreover it won't be able to probably cover a lot of people. I think this was a very good platform for us to be able to do this, and also to also appreciate all the participants for coming on board. And I can assure you that you've prepared very well, and God Almighty will crown your efforts, with success. And be confident. This is the final stage, and that is the oral interview. Just be sure that success is yours at the end of the day. And I want to appreciate every one of you. Just put yourself together, comport yourself, and go there and do the best. And God Almighty will crown your effort with success. Okay, thank you very much, sir. That is what I can say.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful backup. Thank you, sir, Mr. Balogun, and thank you once again, our Oga. Good to see you, sir. That the face is just like 45 years. That's my Oga for you. The only man that rebranded my name to Jamo the Tutti. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Now, without not wasting much of our time, especially our guests, so I will quickly proceed to the business of the day. So I welcome you, all of you, warmly to this evening session, another opportunity for us to sharpen our knowledge, improve our confidence, and deepen our readiness for the forthcoming oral promotion interview. This evening, we are focusing on an essential and foundation themes, general tips on oral interview. As public servants, we know that the oral interview is not just a test knowledge, but a broad assessment of character, comportment, like what our chairman just mentioned now, situational judgment, clarity of communication, confidence, and professional insight. Understanding this expectation early and mastering them position every officer for success. This evening topic is designed to provide practical experience-based guidance that will help officers across all cadre navigate the oral interview with composure, accuracy, and excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to introduce a man whose name command respect across the entire Lagos State Public Service. Mr. Abiodun Bangboye is a distinguished public servant, a seasoned administrator, and one of the most experienced HR and administrative manager our service has produced. He retired meritoriously as a permanent secretary, having served across multiple MDAs, where his leadership, discipline, and administrative brilliance became a reference point for many. His vast experience and impeccable record of service lead his appointment as Commissioner 2 at the Teaching Service Commission, TESCO, where he's continued to contribute to workforce development, governance, and educational excellence. In addition to his administrative legacy, Mr. Bangbo is also a respected member of the team currently reviewing the Lagos Public Service Rule, a testament of his expertise, integrity, and deep understanding of public service standard and best practice. He is shared numerous oral promotion boards, mentioned countless officers, and played a significant role in shaping the promotion assessment culture we know today. Sir, your presence this evening is an honor to us, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with your emojis, with great pleasure and profound respect, I invite you to join me in welcoming our facilitator this session, Mr. Abiodun Bangboye. Welcome, sir. You have the floor, sir. Let me see your emojis. We are 400 and something here, and I'm seeing only 2 people appreciating our guests.
I want to specifically thank the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria under the leadership of Segun Balogun, and very, very importantly, I must also appreciate an officer who has shown that you can be whatever you intend being, and that is the man I always call Jamodi Tuti, the brain behind Public Service Knowledge Hub. I really appreciate this invite, and I don't take it for granted. I know very well that in the past 10 years or thereabout, we have had promotions without going through the hub of the revised edition that we are having this year. So basically, the first thing I want to disabuse your mind of is the panic syndrome. You know, we are talking on general tips. Nobody is a god to you, whether G or a small g god to you, except you submit yourself to seeing such people like that, and in most cases, it will affect you in the way and means you respond to some of the questions that should just be ordinary walkover to you. Now, where do we start? With this 2026 promotion, the public service of Lagos State has done a shift or transition from what initially was RSTP, which is the revised standard training program, revised structured training program that we normally do. And if you look at that RSTP, what do we have in RSTP that, for instance, we do not have in what we have now? The answer is none. None, because most of us have been exposed to one form of training or the other before this exercise. What RSTP does then was just a gap bridger. It's like trying to, let's say, we expose them to something, not just to dash promotion. And so when you go for the RSTP, you are in a large hall or a call like this, and in most cases, with one presentation or two and a few other issues, you just appear the next time and your SPADEV is there and your appearance, and that makes it. Promotion ends. But this time, the shift has brought about a whole lot of reforms and processes. Let me first give you one tip. Do you know that your examiners can even ask you that what has changed in the promotion process? It could be a question. And so the first thing I want to give you as a tip on this promotion issue is, have you actually read that call circular, particularly as it has to do with this oral interview? If you have not, it is still not too late. But I will take time to just do a précis on it. The first one is that it is now called SIP. And who knows what SIP stands for? Structured Evaluation and Assessment Program. Structured Evaluation and Assessment Program. And if you look at it, oral interview is just one of the 4 layers in the structured evaluation and assessment programs. We have 3 other layers in it. And these are the computer-based test, your written assessment, the oral interview that you will now be facing between Monday and Thursday, and of course, your SPADEV, which is the Staff Performance Appreciation and Development Form. We all know that SPADEV has its issues. And in most cases, there is the belief that it is usually a summative assessment. It is not done to actually address a whole lot of needs that are stated there. I could ask you a question. How many times have you engaged your assessor in SPADEV to discuss your training needs? How many times have you had cause of having your assessor invite you to say that you are doing so well on some parts and that you need to improve on some others? All these are part of those things that brought about this kind of shift again. But notwithstanding, it is not anything out of the ordinary. In fact, it's a plus to you, because I could recall when we were still having consistent assessments and interviews. If you don't even prepare in 3 years, you will be forced to at least visit your books and check some records when you are due for promotion. Now, what are the basic features or what this SIP is all out to assess? The first thing that you must note is that I have said it is a shift from the revised structured training program, and it aligns with the transformation agenda of the administration. If you look at the present administration, particularly through its Lagos State Development Agenda 2022 to 2025, it has 4 pillars. And one of the pillars is human-centric public. So if you want to have a human-centric public sector or city, the first thing you must think of is you cannot offer what you don't have. A human-centric city requires public servants that are very, very equipped, not only with the policy trust of government, but also with the hard and soft needs to drive the policy. And that is why the new SIP sets to assess your skills, assess your competencies, assess your experiences, assess your gravitas. Most of us, when we hear gravitas, we think it's one big thing. It's all about your courage. And that assessment, like Messrs. Public Service Knowledge Hub said, is just like a short scenario. And it will go a long way in determining what your future and even your career is. So when you talk of gravitas, how compelling are you carrying yourself? How well dressed are you? How so composed are you in the presence of the interviewers? An interview session is not a session that you go there and be smiling or laughing. At the same time, it's not for you to frown. Be calm. Like that young boy who says, "Mommy, calm down." Just calm down. That's the first thing. Calm down. Be very attentive. That is part of what gravitas is measuring. Because by the time they ask you questions and you misinterpret or you don't even understand at all, then it means you have dropped your gravitas. Apart from gravitas, is now looking for whether you have the potentials to take higher responsibilities. Those are actually the objectives of SIP. Again, it wants to assess your skills, your competencies, your experience, your gravitas, and then capacity or potential for higher responsibilities. Now, we need to realize that one of the things as very, very magnanimous as Public Service and Civil Service Commission has done this year is to state there that one, you must dress officially. It's out of magnanimity. It's like an examiner giving you area of concentration. Your appearance carries some marks. The way you dress is actually suggestive of even the kind of disposition they will show to you. And the second side of it is the advice that you should get to the center at least an hour before the start. You see, like I said, those are two tips that are very strong, and you must take it with all seriousness. Now, for those in HR, particularly those who will be facing public service office as pool officers, you should realize that even that circular in itself could be part of the document that they will use to assess you. For instance, how do you constitute a PMB? The circular listed it. Who heads a PMB? What is PMB? Why PMB promotion? And you would also realize, very importantly, that the circular also listed some of the things that you need to do. For those in HR, you need this. Because if they tell you that, how do you prepare your officers for promotion? You should be able to answer it. One is that you must prepare 15 copies of their briefs. Two is that you must inform and invite those who will form the PMB. You must also inform and invite those that are eligible for promotion. And above all, you will have to collate, you conduct the PMB and you collate the results and submit within 48 hours. It could be a question for you. Then, where do we go? Do you even imagine that in that same circular, there is the breakdown of the scoring matrix? Like I earlier said, there are 4 component areas that are being assessed. We have the CBT, which carries 30 marks. We have written assessment, which carries another 30 marks. We have oral interview that is 20 marks. And finally, we have the SPADEV that is another 20 marks. Note that in each of the 4 areas, you are expected to score not less than 50% in each. So if, for instance, where the score is 30, you don't make a 15, even if you score 75 at the end of the day, you have what they call technical failure. Let me just re-explain that, please. For CBT that is 30, you must score minimum of 15. For written assessment that is 30, you must also score minimum of 15. For oral interview that is 20, you must score minimum of 10. And for SPADEF that is also 20, you must score minimum of 10. This, however, does not determine the cutoff point, the cutoff marks that will be used for assessment. And the cutoff marks are usually stated in the initial call circular before this oral interview circular. So let's try as much as possible to be aware of all those things. Now, what are the other things that that oral interview circular had carried out? One, it states the areas that you should focus on, which I will call areas of concentration. It gives you the chapters in public service rules that you must read. It gives you the chapters in financial regulations that you must read. It says you should have an understanding of the public procurement law of 2021. You must also have a clear and distinct understanding of your job and cadre-specific assignments. This simply says what are the assigned responsibilities that you take as individuals. Nobody will, for instance, teach you what your assignments are. You should know that by heart because you do them day in, day out. Another area that is very, very critical is the aspect of the, which I believe is also making it very, very important that you are part of a government. The mission, the vision, the policy trust, and the developmental trusts, policy trust of this administration. You see, if you don't have an idea of all those things, sincerely, you are not expected to be part of the public service. If you don't know our vision, you don't know our mission, you don't know the themes plus agenda, you don't also understand the Lagos State Development Plan, and you cannot whip them together to address the responsibilities of your agencies, then it means you are actually not part of the system. So it's important we also note that, please. Above that, we tend to take it with some level of levity, but it's very important. Elora Civil Service 2024 handbook, even if it is just to buy, it is their own area of strength, and you can see that it is listed. What you may take for granted could be question as simple as how many officers were subjected to dismissal or termination, or how many sittings did the Civil Service Commission have in 2024? Some funny questions could just come. Somebody could just look at it and take it from there. It could even be the representative of the Civil Service Commission. So, annual report handbook 2024 model edition. And finally, current affairs. current affairs. You see, we are in a season where too many things are happening, and they speak to even the public sector. For instance, there are some special days in the service. There are some special programs. Somebody could just come to tell you that mention one special program and the date that it is done in your agency. If you're in public service office, for instance, and you don't know June 23rd as the day set aside for public service celebration, if you don't know that, or perhaps you are from environment and you don't know days like the tree planting day, or you are from maybe disability, Office of Disability Affairs, and you don't know the day that they do Global Day of Disability, when they celebrate themselves, December 3rd or so. These are dates that you should just be familiar with. Be familiar with dates that are unique, that have either local, national, or international recognition and celebration in your agencies. Apart from that, be familiar with the Lagos State story. If you don't know anything about Lagos State, you should not forget that we became a state May 27, 1967. You must not forget our coat of arms. You must be able to speak to all the components in the coat of arms and what they represent. You must be able to speak to the colors of the state and what they stand for. There are so many things that you just must know about the state. And questions could come in divergent means. Know also about Nigeria. There are issues happening now that could bring up questions. And they expect that at least you listen to news. You should be able to respond to it. Now, I haven't taken you through what the component of the circular is. I hope you yourself can now begin to see that it's important for you between now and Monday morning, or when you will be appearing, to again go and dust some of those documents and look into them carefully. But as a kind of, I just don't want to give a general tip and end it there. I will want to take you into some basics that I think could be of use to you. The first one that I want to speak to is the Lagos State Development Plan. If they ask you that, what do you understand by Lagos State Development Plan? It's a simple, straightforward question. It is a policy document that drives sustainable development in the state. And it's like a long-term plan. It dwells into the future. It has arranged it such that every government that comes already has a document to guide what activities it will run. So if you take it from any of the previous governments, irrespective of what slogan they use, you realize that they are actually operating within the framework of that development plan. The last review was done in 2022, and it has now been extended to cover up till 2052. So you can see it's a 30-year development plan, and it has 4 strategic pillars. You need those 4 strategic pillars because there is nothing you discuss around and across the state that will not speak to those strategic pillars. The first one is a thriving economy. When you say an economy thrives, it means an economy that is booming and growing and also addressing the needs and making people become very established. A thriving economy. The second one, which I had spoken to before, is the human-centric city. Everything that is being done centers around the human beings in the city. So every act of government is to better the lot of its citizen. That is what the second pillar is talking to. And the third pillar is speaking to modern infrastructure, that we provide modern infrastructure that would make life more conducive and make service delivery less stressful. While the fourth one is talking of effective governance. Governance where you are no longer subjected to the stress of taking tally number or queuing or coming physically to see any officer before you get things done. And that is the issue of the construction of all this IT infrastructure to make seamless interaction between the governed and those running government. So those are the 4 issues. And what are we doing those 4 for? The first one is to create jobs. The second one is for sustainable growth, while the third one is for improved quality of life. So you look at your ministry. Look at your ministry as we are speaking. And now look at it whether you are not doing 1 or 2 of those pillars and they are not addressing those 3 needs. So when they ask you questions that you should relate the responsibilities of your ministry to the development agenda of the state, or even to Themes Plus, which is the policy thrust of this present administration, you should know how to answer it from this simple explanation. Look at what your ministry is doing and then relate it to all those themes, the pillars. And then you can now take it to also speak to what we intend to achieve. We are creating jobs, we are having sustainable growth, and at the same time, we are having quality, improved quality of life. Now, let me leave the development agenda and go to Themes Plus. I know you have had presentation on Themes Plus, and I want to believe all of us as we are here, we have at least a fair understanding of what Themes is all about. T for transportation and traffic management, H for health and environment, E for education and technology, M for making Lagos a 21st century economy, E for entertainment and tourism, and while S is for security and governance. Now, the plus came in at the outset of the second tenure of this administration. And that plus is they are cross-cutting. They apply to all those 6 pillars. the plus would apply to all the 6 pillars. And it has just 3 titles. The first title is gender equality. Gender equality. So when you talk of transportation and traffic management, you have to consider gender equality. When you talk of health and environment, there must be gender equality, and so on and so forth. When you take the second line of the plus, it is social inclusion. I think we understand what gender equality is about. That irrespective of whether you are a male or a female, you all have equal rights and opportunities to what is being provided. Then when we get to social inclusion addresses a situation where nobody is discountenanced or not carried along because he does not belong to a particular class or cadre. So in social inclusion, a social inclusion policy will be a leveler. It doesn't allow any boundary. Everybody can flow. And the final one is youth empowerment or engagement, as you may want to call it. We will realize also that the 3 layers that we have under that plus, I gave it an acronym that makes me always remember it easily. I call it GESIE. GESIE. GE, gender equality. SI, social inclusion. YE, youth empowerment. So GESIE. It makes you remember it very easy, and you don't just go into sleep mode in the presence of the examiners. So why did government think in this direction? I hope we all remember the unfortunate experience of 2020 when youth took over and destroyed a whole lot of facilities. I hope we all remember. So a reasonable government and proactive government must definitely work towards policies and programs that will also avert such a recurrence. And that exactly was why we had this GESIE. Sir, is it just ideal? I feel I get a feedback, maybe they do emoji to show that they are flowing, because if I'm the only one talking, really, okay. Thank you. So do you prefer I continue or I do a revision on what I have said so far?
Okay, sir. You can continue then.
Okay, I can
Now
continue.
then, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, having taken those 2 areas that I believe are very, very critical, I feel personally that if I go into public service rules, I will take too much time and then it may really not. But the areas they said you should look at, like those chapter 2, appointment and exit from service, these are simple, straightforward issues that you could do even in your revision and then get some catch-up. Then discipline is what we all are familiar with, chapter 4. For chapter 10, grievances and petitions and appeals. What I think is very important is that most of us do not know that if you do not appeal within 6 months, the essence of your appeal is time barred. It's very, very critical that we note it. And there are conditions that will make your appeal worth considering. So you must note all those ones. If it is grievances too, our petitions, don't forget that there are conditions that you must also meet. So don't just write an anonymous letter, for instance, and you expect that it will be considered. If you don't route it the right way, don't expect that it will be considered. There are so many conditions that you must leave. No. Then the final area there is leave. Don't forget that the simple definition of leave is the authorized absence of an officer for a specified period of time. You need that definition in anything you are saying on leave. Authorized absence of an officer for a specified period of time. Very, very critical. And let me tell you that of all leaves, it's only your annual leave that we count through work days. For other leaves, weekends are included, except it is specified. Note all those things. Then, as a member of a board now, Teaching Service Commission, we have realized that most officers don't actually know the type of leave they wish to apply for. Some people will just need compassionate leave. They will say they want to go on leave of absence. So you should be able to know the difference between all those leaves. Otherwise, if they just ask you, you may be lucky that they will just ask you to list some types. They may also be lucky that they just say, explain the number of days that an officer on a particular grade level is supposed to enjoy. You must also understand what is called proportional leave, which is leave based on pro rata. We have 12 months. So if you are employed and you have between 1 whole month up to 12 months, the leave can be prorated up to 11 months. But if you have 12 whole months, you get your full leave. And the calculation usually is 11 all over the number of months that you will use over 12 times the number of days that you are due for. So if you are due for 30 days, for instance, and you came in 1st of May, it means you had just 8 months. So they will just say 8 all over 12 times 30. And that, at the end of the day, will give you 20 days. So you should know all those small things and be able to also explain them. But I feel very interested because I know that the service has suffered some level of, do I call it sleep mode, especially on communication. So what are the forms of business writing or communication in the public service? Let me also speak briefly to it. We have minuting. And minuting is just the comment that you make on a file that you address to an officer or your position on a particular content, either on a letter or a file. If a letter comes now and I says, let's say the letter goes to Public Service Knowledge Hub, and I just write PSKH, deal and revert in 24 hours. I will sign and put my status and date. Now, what I have just done in that manner is what is called minuting. That is what is called minuting. Then we have minutes of meeting. I think we all know the features of minutes of meeting. starting from the title, which will capture the nature of meeting, the venue, and the date. Then you now go to other components, component features, like attendance. Those who are expected to be at the meeting that were present, you list them. In attendance, you first write present, you list them. Then those who are absent, you list them and you put reasons. If they are on leave, if it's an official assignment, you have to indicate. Then you now list the third set of people that we call in attendance. Those in attendance are actually not part of the meeting. They are either invited or they are the ones covering the meeting, recording the proceedings of the meeting. So you must also note them. Then you now go to the opening. From opening, you go to where under opening, you consider and adopt the minutes of the previous meeting. Under opening, the first is to welcome members. The second is to consider and adopt the minutes of the previous meeting. Then from there, you go to matters arising from the previous meeting. After that, you go to business of the day. After business of the day, you go to any other business. Then you go to closing. In minutes and in all official communication, we always advise that you keep it short and simple. You don't need to be too expressive. You can just come up with the topic, the issue that was discussed, and then just put the key issues that were raised. If, for instance, we are discussing appointment of a chief whip, and you have written it as the topic, you can now say the meeting considered the need for a chief whip in the course of the meeting. Then 2, the issue was deliberated and it was resolved that Mr. Abiodun Bangboye should play the role of chief whip. That is so simple. Stop writing, Mr. Bangboye said, Mrs. Bangboye now said, Miss Bangboye also said, and Pro Bangboye. By the time you list it like that, you are actually breaching the area that we call confidentiality. You must be able to protect those who contribute at meetings so that they don't become targets when people read minutes. You need that. It's very, very important. That's minutes of meeting. Then decision extracts. What do we call decision extracts? It's just the summary of the conclusions and those assigned responsibilities to carry them out. And why do we write them? We won't want us to wait until the next meeting when they will now say, I've forgotten. You serve decision extracts within 48 hours in the most, so that every member is formally notified of the actions they have been mandated to take, and they can begin to act on them before the next meeting. You know, they may not have access to the minutes until it's just about some few days to the meeting. So if you wait without decision extract and then you now serve minutes, they will just wait and they will be rushing towards the meeting just to come and tell you something. And they will be giving you a story of we have started. It's ongoing. The fourth one is circular. Circular is a document that informs about activities and also decisions, as well as expectations from the publics. When I say the publics, I'm referring to internal and external publics. So when circulars are issued, some of the information there would expect you to know that things are no longer being done this way. Maybe there is an amendment or something, it will expect that you note it. Sometimes it may just be requesting that you prepare for something. It may also be requesting for information that you must submit. And sometimes it will also give directives on how you should do some actions that you are doing. We have all those things, and we know how circulars are issued. In most cases, we have what we call ministry. I just want to call them that they are ministry-specific circulars. When you are talking of establishment circulars, it will be issued by the Ministry of Establishment. When you are talking of a new financial year now, and you want to issue circular, it will be issued by Finance, STO. When you are talking of those that are cross-cutting, generic circulars, they usually come from the Office of the Head of Service. They usually come from the Office of the Head of Service. Look at this promotion circular. It has come not from the Office of the Head of Service, but from the Civil Service Commission. That is because it is agency specific. It is agency specific. So you should note all those things. Then we have letters that are written. Don't forget how letters are written. It is important to note that in service, handover note is also an instrument, and it serves a whole lot of functions. Number one, it is to protect you if you are the one leaving. It is also to guide you if you are the one taking over. If you are the one leaving, you have stated how far you have gone. You have stated materials, financial and non-financial, that you are leaving, and so on and so forth. Then you must sign as the one handing over and allow the officer taking over to sign. It is very, very vital. We also have submission. We know we write submission most often just to state our position, and it's usually from a subordinate to a superordinate. So that is why you first indicate the person you are addressing it to. Then you state whatever you are discussing. You put your prayers, and then you close with your signature and your rank. You also include date. Then we have briefs. Your promotion brief, for instance, is a good example of brief. And why do we prepare briefs? In most cases, those who will consider an issue cannot be discussing using just one file. So the brief would have given a summary on what is to be discussed, and it will be served to all those who will be there, so they can individually review them and also take their own position and give whatever input they want to give on them. It's very, very important. We have report. That one usually is carried out based on maybe the setting up of a committee or a panel where they expect that you look into an issue and profile solutions or give guidelines. But when reports are written, the content of the report cannot just be used until it is presented before the Executive Council. And the Executive Council will now consider the report, and they will now give the position that they expect government to take. What they do at that level will result in the presentation of what we call white paper. White paper will state the government's position on an issue and also give directives on the activities that must be done to resolve an issue that was raised in a report or that has been reported on. Then the final one is the Executive Council memo. For Executive Council memo, I want us to know that there is a circular of government issued in 2011 on the format of an Executive Council memo. The first aspect there is introduction. The second one is existing state of affairs or background. We have introduction, we have background known as existing state of affairs. Then we have issues in controversy, if any. That will be the third one. I said introduction, background or existing state of affairs. Issues in controversy will be the third. The fourth one is the nature of proposal. The fifth one will have to do with methodology. The sixth one will talk of cost implication or procurement method. The seventh will be the prayers. The eighth will be the initials, the title, and the date, in that order. Now, initials, title, then the ministry of the person presenting, in that order. Now, let me just speak briefly to each of those components, features. When you speak of introduction in an Executive Council memo, it's just to give what we call the thematic focus, the thesis statement, which is this submission will address the issue of leakages in revenues in the state public service. You know, when you write such an introduction, anybody who reads it knows that everything you are discussing must be about that lead, which is the introduction. Then you now go to background or existing state of affairs. I have said that we want to address leakages in revenue generation. So the existing state of affairs may just be that Lagos has several channels of revenues and uses different modes of collection. Predominantly, however, is the manual collection by, maybe we call them consultants, who in turn report to the state. Are we together? Now, you can now go to, after that, the existing state of affairs, which is telling that this is what we are doing now. And that is the background. That at present, we have diverse channels of revenues and also diverse methods of collection. But principal amongst those channels is the use of consultants whose reports serve as the primary document and information for revenue generation. So what will now be the issue in controversy? From the way I have written the first two, you know the issue in controversy will be that we have too many sources. We also have too many collectors, and they are not actually moderated or either checked in one or guided by either some documents or by guidelines or by whatever. So the issue in controversy now, we now leave you to the nature of proposal. If you have found it that way, we don't have a guideline, we don't have processes and procedures, we don't have monitoring facilities, they just give us information that we depend on without validating, then what do you think will be the nature of your proposal? It will be the opposite of the issue in controversy. How do you address the issue in controversy? Number one, there is the need to have a coordinated list of revenues, to also have a collated list of those or methods of revenue generation. We could also be thinking of utilizing electronics, and since we now do e-banking, setting up ICT facilities and blah, blah, blah. So that will be your nature of proposal. Then what method will you use? Number one, at least you must collate list of those who are at present. Maybe you met with them on 3 occasions. It's part of your method. You must list it. Maybe you have spoken with some banks that are willing to help. You must list it. Anything you have done that will be a method to improve on what is being done, you have to also list it under methodology. Then you now take it away from methodology to now go to the procurement method. What will be the cost implication? How would you get to it? You must be able to also list this. Sometimes the procurement implication may just be like engaging some banks and maybe coming up with sharing formula that on every 100% revenue, we will give 5% as our compensation to drive it. So, and that will mean that it's not even going to cost government anything. Rather, it will only make those people to put facilities in place and then also raise up the portfolio of our revenues. So you must also note that. Then after that, you now go to prayers. In prayers, don't forget that you have to just do like a summary of all. What did we have in our introduction? That the memorandum A states that there are divergent sources and methods of revenue collection. B explains the negative consequences and implications of A above. C highlights the strategies for improved revenue generation and administration. E seeks for the introduction of e-banking at ratio 95:5, revenue generation and compensation to recognized banks. You just list it on and on and on. If it has a cost implication, 6, the release of 5 naira being cost of ABC. And approves the takeoff of this new method with effect from 1st of January 2026. So if you list it that way, you have helped the whole council, where you have over 40 people with divergent rational thinking and reasoning. You have helped them to see a clear picture of your executive council memorandum. And don't forget, why it is stated that you use your initials is that it is government document. The moment you place it before the council, it is no longer your document. And you indicate your title. For instance, when I was in service, I'll just write AB as my initials. My title then was PS, maybe I say PS, PSO. Then, I've written PS, then my MDA is PSO. That is just it. I hope that explains it in very simple, straightforward means, just to also help us a little on it, because now that you are getting back to this level, there may be the need for them to ask questions on them. So ladies and gentlemen, I was trying to work within the time frame so that I don't take you too far. Maybe I should just yield the floor for about 5 minutes and take 1 or 2 questions or ideas on where you want me to further come in so that I can speak to you. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, let me see your emojis rolling. Out of 665, I'm seeing only 2 people appreciating our facilitator. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you very much, sir, for that rich, insightful, and deeply enlightening presentation, sir. We sincerely appreciate the depth of experience, practical wisdom, and clarity you have shared with us this evening, sir. Your guidance has touched on those areas that many officers often struggle with, and you have broken them down in a way that is simple, direct, and extremely valuable. So, sir, on behalf of the entire Public Service Knowledge Hub and the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria Lagos State Chapter, we say a hearty thank you, sir. So your contribution today has truly strengthened our understanding and has equipped us with tools that will make a meaningful difference as we prepare for the oral interview. So we are honored to have benefited once again from your wealth of knowledge and long-standing commitment to building a better public service. So at this point, sir, with your permission, we would like to proceed to the question and answer so participants can further engage with you and seek clarification and specific area on what you have been discussing with us so far. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we normally run it here, please politely raise your hand if you have any question or more clarification so far on what he has been saying. And please we can't solve the oral promotion interview here. It's just for us to guide, to add to what we have known and to get more clarification. So let your question be concise and straightforward. Remember, our facilitator here is what Yoruba call agbawo. So we don't need to ask don't let me use other language here. So let our question be professional, right? So we can't be asking question of, sir, if suppose they ask me this, so you can't be expecting him to teach you what you are going to say there. So remember the topic of today's this class is tips, just to guide us. It's what you have known already. It's just to build our confidence. So please, mindful of your question. Thank you so much. So I will open the chat box now because I locked it before. So I will open it. So if you want to ask question, you can type your question and raise your hand. But I prefer if you can raise your hand and speak up your mind so that we know where to. So first on the list, I will Mr. Rafiu Tolani, unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir. Thank
Good
you
evening.
for the enlightenment you have
Your name, your ministry, sir.
Sorry, the curiosity gain advantage of me because you said we should just be straightforward. My name is Rafiu Tolani from Ministry of Justice. So thank you, sir, the facilitator,
Okay,
for defining all these things for us and making it very simple for us. But my question is just that there's a procurement. You haven't said anything about procurement. If there's a way you can just summarize it for us. So that's the question I want to ask.
It's noted. I will speak to it later.
Okay, noted. So we are going to list out our question, then later the advisor will now do justice to it one after the other. So let's continue bringing up our question. Kọ́láwọlé Kọ́mọláfẹ́ Olúwakẹ́mi, unmute yourself, Kọ́mọláfẹ́. Is Kọ́mọláfẹ́ there with us? Unmute yourself from your end. Kọ́mọláfẹ́. Okay. Àjọṣe Ramota, unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma.
My
Your name,
name
your
is
ministry.
Ajose Ramuta Sonayo, Ministry of Education, District 5, Government Senior College. I'm in level 12, and this is the first time for me to go for the oral interview. So I want to ask that hope there will be there should be a confidence in me so that I can be able to face the panel. And the question I want to ask is that the oral interview, is it going to be based on your area of specialization? That is what you teach, that is the subject that you take.
Okay,
You are also noted. You are
Okay,
also
noted.
noted. I will respond.
Okay, noted, Ramota. Sit back and listening. Ajibola Tokpe Ariyo. Tokpe Ariyo, unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. My name is Ajibola Tokariyo. We really appreciate our
Your ministry.
lecturer. I work
Your
in
ministry.
Amu Ward of local government. I work in Amu Ward of local government, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Level 12 officer, sir. Yeah, our lecturer talk about leave. We have leave of professional leave, annual leave, but our lecturer made mention of leave is an authorized absence of an officer for specific period of time. Is it annual leave or professional leave, sir? That's what I wanted to ask, sir.
Okay, noted.
You are also noted.
Yeah, please, ladies and gentlemen, for those that's on their video, please remember that This call is televised on a YouTube channel, meaning everybody has seen this. Can you please mute your video? Please mute your video if you know that you are on bed in your bedroom and other things. Thank you. Tokede, unmute yourself from your side. Please click on mute. You have the floor.
All right. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm Tokede Eukaria from Education District 5. My question is on the issue of these circulars. The circulars, I don't really understand it very well. I want more clarification on it.
Okay, noted.
Good.
Oyeleye, Queen Elizabeth, you have the floor. Unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
I'm Oyeleye Queen Elizabeth, Lagos State Health Service Commission. My question is this: while you were explaining Teams, while you were explaining it, the network logged me out, so I couldn't get anything. Please, sir, if you can just for some clarification, just explain it a bit, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, noted. You will get a recap on that shortly. Mukbayi NIN setup. Please, your name and your ministry.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, my name is Aremu Kamadin. I'm from Apapa Igomo CDA. Actually, because of the network problem you're having in this area, I want to appeal if you can able to get the record of these lectures. So just an appeal so that we can have much understanding of the lecture. So that sometimes that the network break, and when we come back, we have lost a lot of.
All right. What do you say your name again, sir?
Aremu Kamal from Apapa.
Okay, Mr. Aremu, I will send our YouTube link to you so that you can access the class, the lecture after the class.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. Tokede, you still have anything do you have any additional thing or mute yourself? Tokede? Or is it a mistake I raise your hand? Okay, I think it's mistake that you raise your hand. Okay, Folake Janet, unmute yourself. Good evening, Folake. Please, can you close to your mic, to your gadgets? Your voice is far from your gadget.
Okay, Akiyemi Janet Folake is my name, sir. From the
Okay.
CDA to be precise. Please, sir, I want you to please explain again the pillars of the 4 pillars that you mentioned earlier. I could not get all. I got just 2. Please, can our lecturer come again, sir? Thank you, sir.
Okay, sorry. Which of the pillars? Can you mention the name of the
plan.
pillar? Is it Teams pillar or the development?
I think it's the development plan.
Folake?
Yes, sir. The development plan, sir.
Okay, noted.
Yes.
Oh, Labi, you have the floor.
Good evening, sir. My name is Olabi Yakin from District 2. Sorry, sir. The network really disturbed my...
Your question.
Yes, it really disturbed my lecture, but I will also need the video, the YouTube. I don't mind if you can send it to me also, sir. I will appreciate it, sir.
Okay, stay back. I will send it to the chat box.
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay, do you want to say anything?
Yes, sir.
Please,
good evening once again, sir. Okay, I really want to know more about this Betty because I don't really know about it. I don't know if he can be able to give us something about the
Okay, noted. Noted.
All right,
You get the recap. Olaniyan.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
The moderator and my yoga. My name is Engineer from Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, Office of Drainage Services and Water Resources, sir. Sir, I just want to ask about something that has been bothering me regarding oral interview. Should there be, is it compulsory for a candidate or is it necessary for a candidate to greet the panelist while entering the panel room? That's question number one. Number two, sir, the dressing. Some people do come in native, putting on cap and all of that, and we still have some panels trying to complain that why don't you come in suit and all of that. Is dressing native not a corporate dressing, sir? Please kindly help us to throw more light on this. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, noted, Mr. Olaniyan. Okay, Mr. Bangbade Sonny.
Good evening, sir. Thanks for the opportunity, sir. I'm Bangbade Sonny Adebola from Air Service Commission. So I would like to know, in case during interview we were asked, who designed the Lagos State Coat of Arms?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
That's your question. Okay, sit back and relax. Okay, now, sir, you have the floor now, sir, before we go into the chat box.
Yes, we already have 10 questions, so let me just take them as I am so excited. You see, one of the things that will make any presenter or facilitator happy is the response of the participants. I'm so excited. Rafiu Tolani, you said I never spoke on procurement. I also did not speak on financial regulation because I believe these are areas that if I go into them, we will spend too long a time. But let me just give a summary of all those documents, those two documents. When you talk of the procurement law and financial regulation, what they do is to provide guidelines for every financial transaction. So you know the do's and don'ts. The second is that they give value addition to the processes and procedures. And this value addition is driven by transparency. Transparency. There is also room for competitiveness. It's not who you know because it's in the public domain and the guidelines are there. Then we also have room for probity. Most of these processes, they could raise, people could flag up from anywhere. Let me give you a very simple example of what procurement procedure has actually created. if you listened to the interview conducted by one, I don't want to mention his name, one reporter in one of these televisions with the Minister for Works, he was asking a question. Can you tell us how much per kilometer the road ABC will cost? So it has given room for public participation. Nothing is hidden again. It's not that government is just doing it for doing sake. And that is why we have all those things. But the most important of you to do is try and relate with those who are professionals in that ministry to tell you some small bits. For instance, in procurement, you need to ask, okay, what are the procurement procedures? Somebody who is a professional on that line will tell you, why do we carry out bidding? Somebody in that area too will be able to explain to you. And he will tell you the types of procurement that we have. We have national procurement, we have international procurement, we have local procurement. We even have emergency procurement. There are several layers of it that you can only get those basics. But what you just need to know as a generalist is that those laws are there so as to allow for value addition, to allow for probity, to allow for transparency, to allow for competitiveness, and also to ensure that everybody has a say. I have a right to the documents, and that's why they put it on public domain. Everybody has a right to it, and everybody could raise a question also on it. The second person, I just said, Shenayo, you said you are from Government Senior College, District 5. You are talking on self-confidence as one thing. I have spoken on it. And when I was speaking on gravitas, I took pains to explain that gravitas will require how you carry yourself, your personal courage, the comportment, the belief in yourself that, yes, these people will ask and I will answer. And I said, if you get there and you are timid, you have already created some level of gap that may even affect the way you interpret whatever question they're asking you. And you don't get there again to take them for fun, to think they are just there for play and begin to laugh or smile. Maybe you don't answer a question and they are telling you, can't you answer? And you start laughing. So that has to do with self-discipline in a way. You must be disciplined enough to know that it's a serious business and that even if you are not getting the questions, you should not now show them that whether you get it or not, your promotion is your promotion. It is usually irritating. Then on question of area of specialization, I have said it that you need your public service knowledge. You need an understanding of your assigned responsibility. When I was still in the service and I went for interview in education for teaching service commission for officers from education districts, we were asking them questions on their subject areas now, because that is the thing they do primarily. And up till tomorrow, when we do assessment at Teaching Service Commission, we give focus on their area of specialization. They are subject experts, and so we do interview on it. So if you are very good in your subject, wow, congratulations, because you just floor them in a way. You show them that you have the stuff. Although you can't floor a panel, it's the panel that that we eventually take decision. Ajibola Ariyotope from Amuwo Odofin, you said you had of annual leave and then you mentioned professional leave. There is, I don't think in my 35 years over, there is any leave that is called professional leave. But we have different types of leaves. The one that I just mentioned, I said, if it's your annual leave, it is just the Monday to Friday that is counted. Weekends are not counted with it. And that is why if you are going for your annual leave, which will be 30 days, you end up spending about 42 days because the weekends will not be counted. Monday to Friday, 5 days. You count Monday to Friday, the next one, another 5 days. Saturday and Sunday, one believe pay is not part of your annual leave. But for every other type of leave that you get, the weekends are part of it. We call those ones, we count the work days for annual leave, but we use the calendar days for other leaves. So, Tokede, you spoke on circulars. Circulars are issued just like letters, and they address it. I don't know whether they serve you in schools or local governments. You are from Education 5. If you have been relating with all the platforms that we opened, even from TESCOM, our social media platforms, we have been sending copies of circulars there. Circulars will declare holidays. Circulars will declare, like this call circular for promotion, it was served. We have several types of circulars. And I said some circulars are ministry specific. Because the assignment is from that ministry, it is the ministry that issues it. But other general circulars are issued by the office of the head of service. Oyeleke, Queen Elizabeth, you want me to do a review on Themes Plus. What I said on Themes Plus, very simple. I said Themes, T stands for Transport and Traffic Management. H stands for Health and Environment. E stands for Education and Technology. M stands for Making Lagos a 21st Century Economy. E stands for Entertainment and Tourism, while S stands for Security and Governance. I now said that for the plus has 3 elements. And I gave an acronym for it. I said GESIYE, GESIYE, GE, gender equality. That's the first line. The second line, SI, social inclusion. And the third line, YE, youth empowerment. And I said those plus would actually impact the 6 pillars. So when you take education and technology, for instance, you must consider gender equality, you must consider social inclusion, you must also consider youth empowerment. I think that explains it in a nutshell. Then Aremu and the other fellow who spoke on network issues, you have been assured that you should look into the chat box so that you can get the recordings and then play back on them. Akiyemi Janet, you want the 4 pillars of the Lagos State Development Plan. I said the first is a thriving economy. A thriving economy. The second one is human-centric city. Human-centric city. The third one is modern infrastructure. Modern infrastructure. While the fourth one is effective governance. And I explained further that every assigned responsibility of every MDA must align with this. And if it is well run, it will result in job creation. It will bring about sustainable growth. And it will also bring about improved quality of life for the citizenry. So that answers your question too. And To Kede, you said Ehigbeti. Now, Ehigbeti is actually an historical, do I call it name for Lagos? And what it is, if you have heard it before, they will say, Toju oba ti Ehigbeti, oju oni ti Eko. So it is from that name that the administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu brought about the need to always have a convergence of all strategic players, government, captains of industries, small, medium, and microeconomists, banks, manufacturing industry, even the international community. They all come together and they carry out a deep research on the things that need to be done to improve Lagos. And the outcome of every Ehigbeti summit is when we have either a revision, we'll first do a review on the Lagos State Development Plan, because the Ehigbeti, the product of Ehigbeti, is actually the Lagos State Development Plan. And you know, the plan is so stated that no administration will come without using it. You must just take a bite of it and then you focus on it. So that is the story. And anytime we hold the meeting, they do it once in 2 years, I think. And anytime the meeting is held, there is usually a theme. There is usually a theme. They will take a theme to address it. I know there was a time that the theme was from bricks to brinks. BRICS to from BIRCS to BRINCS. And they put colon, Lagos holds the key. If you know the BRICS nation, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They said from the BRICS nation, those 5 nations, they now put brinks, and including Nigeria, and they say it is Lagos that holds the key that will bring Nigeria into that committee of states. And if you look at those countries that I mentioned, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, they are actually the emerging powers. They are the emerging powers, apart from the first world and first powers that we have. So they always come up with very, very demanding focus to drive the economy of Lagos so that it becomes highly competitive. And that is why when governors in Lagos State speak, you realize sometimes they don't compare themselves with other states in Nigeria. They compare themselves with international communities and countries of the world. So that is the essence of Ehigbeti. If you really, I guess you have understood it a little. Then the guy from Office of Olaniyan Abiodun Engineer, Office of Drainage and Drainage Services and Water Resources. You said is it compulsory to greet panelists? Courtesy demands. But the way it is done, when you enter, the whole team, except they are taking you in one by one, usually they will take, because of the number, they will take not less than 3, or sometimes even 8, 10. And we expect that when you enter, the lead interviewer or the chairman will say, good morning, candidates, and it is important for you to give courtesies by saying, good morning, sirs, good morning, ma. Then you said people in, you called it, do you say local dress? You said native dress. Calling it native dress in a way is even derogatory. You should call it traditional attire. And the important thing, go and look at the circular on mode of dressing in the public service. The traditional dress is recognized, particularly if you put on your headgear. You know, they say it's a formal appearance. So if you are appearing in your traditional dress, you can put on your agbada if you like and put on your cap, or you put on smart babariga or whatever with a cap. You can't enter without a cap and you expect it to be, or you now put slippers to it. It's not formal again. I hope that clears that. Then Bang Boshe, that question of who designed the Lagos State Coat of Arms, so many people have asked me, and I am still researching. What I got as the answer is that no name was actually kept, but it was actually a design that was done at the creation of the state. And you will see that all the components put there are actually meant to project the culture and the tradition of the people, of the good people of the state. So that is how far I can go on that. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Please, I don't need to tell you before I can see your emojis on that clarification. If you know that you are not comfortable with any of the points, you can still raise your hand so that we still have time to do that. Thank you so much, sir, once again. So now let me go to the chat box and read that chat box. Most of the messages here are appreciation, and at the same time, for the people that are requesting for the highlight on the video, so I've sent the YouTube link, so I will send it again. Please go and check. We have what it takes. Even the question they're asking on the procurement, we have it there fully with a procurement, director procurement. So go there to our YouTube and get that, get justice to that. So the question on the chat box are, okay, you have answered the who invented the Lagos Coat of Arms. You have do justice to, I think Bankole is okay with the question on more explanation on LSDP and Teams Plus agenda. So Bankole says, sir, can you expatiate more on the LSDP and how it's interwoven with the Teams Plus agenda? Then another one, sir. Hope you take that one, sir.
Yes.
All right, sir. So another one, this one is from Folashade Kasali, Assistant Director, Admin and HR, NVAA, 2IC to the Director, A and HR there. He said, my question is about conflict resolution. He said, it's always a great delight to acquire more knowledge and expertise from your wealth experience, sir. Hi, I'm Folashade Kasali, Assistant Director, A&HR NV. My question is about conflict resolution. How best can I handle conflict among my downline officers and still maintain a better coordinated team? Thank you. That's from Kasali Folashade. Another one from Okeshola Dewumi. He said, sir, which body is responsible for the blue, red, yellow, lime rain? I mean blue, red, yellow, lime rain. That's what he said. Another one from, okay, Omotayo, you have answered that too. You have not responded to the, okay, I think you have responded to that, the same coat of arms. I think that was the question at hand now on the chat box, sir. So you can proceed, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
well, let me first state that when I started my explanation, I said every administration sees the Lagos State Development Plan like the big pot. If you look at the Lagos State Development Plan, the first thing there has to do with vision, which says that making Lagos a 21st century economy that is, it speaks to safe, secure, productive, and whatever. And it goes further to tell us the mission, which is to do infrastructure development, infrastructural growth and development. Now, I know that in the era of Asiwaju, what we had was TPA, which we call 10-point development agenda. And it spoke to education, transportation, and so on and so forth. When the present administration came, he introduced themes. And if you look at the themes, from the way that I explained it, he's speaking to transportation and traffic management. If you go into the master book, the themes agenda, and you go to the area where they speak to transportation and traffic management, you will see it even from the very beginning, that it was through these themes that we started LASMA, traffic management. LASMA, of course, not there. Is in the development agenda because initially we didn't have traffic management officers in Lagos State before Tinubu. So it was the document that proposed the need for those people. If you look at the issue of environment, even when we introduced Sky, it was also a product of that document. Now look at the present administration. If you take transportation, if you look at it very well, this present administration has worked more than any other administration on rail transport. And the question that will answer the question somebody asked, that which body is responsible for the blue, yellow, and red line? Let me just tell you that we have two major agencies. We have the Lagos State Waterways Authority, which is in charge of regulation. Sorry, I think I've mixed that. I'm coming back to it. I'm talking of the waterways now. For waterways, we have Lagos State Waterways Authority in terms of regulation. Then we have the other one, which is about the water transport proper. That is operation. Now, for all the rail system that we have in Lagos State, have you heard of Lamata before? If you have not heard of Lamata, Lamata is Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority. Lamata is actually the coordinating agency for most of the rail tracks that we are having. And it is in conjunction with some international bodies that we are actually doing it together. So you should know that. For now, it's not that we have a standalone body as we have of LASWA for water, but it is Lamata that is running it. And if you look at Lamata, Lamata is doing so much because Lamata also was the one that ran the issue of our buses, the BRTs, bus rapid transport. It was Lamata also that did their lanes to create that unique setting. So it's the same thing that we are still enjoying there. So Mrs. Kasali Folashade, 2IC to the DHR, MVAA, conflict resolution can take divergent strategies to handle. There are 1,001, bí Yorùbá ṣe máa ń sọ pé èèyàn kì í lé èkúté ilé ẹni kó fapá ṣẹ́. There are 1,001 ways to kill a rat. It's the same thing that we have in conflict resolution, particularly if they are your downlines. The first thing that I will want you to note is that, do they actually believe in you? Are you the type that is not biased? Because in most cases, when you are resolving conflicts and those involved know that you have special interest in a particular group against them, there is no way that you will sustain their coordination at the end of it, because they will say, we know you will favor them, she will favor them. And I can't take conflict resolution in this kind of an environment because it's a broad one. But one thing that I can assure you is, if you can meet me personally, even if it is online, or you know anybody in Ministry of Local Government, Community Affairs, and Rural Development, I think they invited me at some point to make a presentation on conflict resolution for them. And they still have the document. So you can get the document and see the different strategies of resolving conflicts. So I think I've answered the questions that are put before us for now. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Perfectly, sir. I think you pause on the blue line, yellow line. Sir, I thought you want to, I don't know if you have done justice to that, sir.
Yes. What I said was the blue, the yellow, the red line. You know, the color identification is just to show the roots. It's to show the roots. I don't readily have knowledge of those roots, but it is showing the roots that, yes, from one point to one point, it will be called blue line. From one point to one point, I know the focus of government is to extend it so as to reduce pressure on the roads. That's the first thing. And I said that Lamata, Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, is actually the arrowhead for that project at the level of the state. So that's what I just said. And I went further to even tell you that that will not be the first major project that Lamata has run for the state. Lamata equally was the arrowhead for the bus rapid transport. There are lanes that we are using in Lagos. And that is what I have explained there. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So once again, sir, I don't know if you can help us record the acronym of GESIE.
Okay,
sir.
I said GESIE, G-E-S-I-Y-E. I use it to remember easily the plus after the themes. G-E-S-I-Y-E.
S-I-Y-E. Okay,
I-Y-E. G-E stands for gender equality. S-I stands for social inclusion, while Y-E stands for youth empowerment.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please let me see your emojis. Let me see your emojis. Are we sleeping? If you know you are not enjoying this class, please signify so that let's know. Okay. Mukadas Paramole, unmute yourself. Quick one. Your name, your ministry.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, rather, because it's dark here. Yeah, I'm Jide Kwaramole from Public Service Office of the Head of Service. Sincerely speaking, I don't have any question, but to appreciate our boss, Mr. Agbangboye, because I can't expect less than what we have received today. We will just go there on Monday, and with this impact that they have made on us, and the lecture we have listened to, the tips, I believe we are good to go, and by the special grace of God, we will come out victorious and successful in the oral interview. Thank you very much, sir. I just want to show the appreciation.
Thank you so much, Paramole, for that accolade. Thank you very much. Bangbade, quick one. I believe you want to appreciate. Bangbade, Sonny.
I'm very sorry, sir. We do appreciate our facilitator, sir. He has done justice to the presentation. We are very appreciative. But I just need a clarification, sir. I don't know if I can ask the question. Clarification, actually. I want to know the accounting officer of the Lagos State Treasury, sir. Is it the permanent secretary or the accountant general? Thanks so very much, sir.
All right, thank you. Noted. Fadeke Okpere.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening. I just want to appreciate my boss.
Your name, your ministry.
From
your name, your ministry.
Local government, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Local government.
Okay.
Assistant director.
All right. You want to appreciate
my boss.
Okay.
Mr. Bangboye, thank you so much, sir.
All right.
May God continue to uplift you. May you live long and see the fruit of your labor. We really appreciate you.
Amen.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Ogunlewe Adejobi. Ogunlewe, unmute yourself. Ogunlewe.
Good evening, sir. My name is Ogunlewe Adejumobi. I'm from Loma. I want to appreciate Mr. Bangboye. Oga, you are not looking young. You are looking so young. In fact,
Oga is the boy. I call him the boy now.
I will buy my recruiting under 16. Can play under 16 for her? In fact, we thank you so much. We appreciate you. In fact, I cannot say a word cannot show my appreciation. Thank you very, very much, sir. We really appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Igbason.
Ẹ káalẹ́ sá o.
Igbason.
Ẹ káalẹ́ o.
Yes, sir. Inú mi dùn orúkọ mi ni Ìgbásán Olúwatóyìn Abísógun láti local government chief building officer Àpá Àgànmú. Gbogbo nǹkan tí ọ̀gá sọ pátá ni ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó dùn mọ́ àánú. Èmi náà fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn ni. Ọlọ́run àtúbọ̀ bá fún wọn ní ọgbọ́n àti òye. Mr. Jamiu, we really appreciate you, sir, for what you have done. We will never forget this in the entire time of our life. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, sir. Ismaila Ogunbambi.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Ismail Ogubambi. I'm the head of budget at Ikorodu West LCDA. I have a question, but firstly, I would like to thank our dear permanent secretary, retired Mr. Bangoe, for a wonderful. This is more than a lecture. This is teaching to understand entirely. I really want to appreciate the way he has brought out everything that has to do with oral interview and how he has been able to point out those professional questions from all that transcend all cadres. Thank you so much, sir. It's always a delight listening to you anytime. Anytime, it's always refreshing. And we pray that God Almighty will continue to keep you strong. So my question has to do with SPADEP. When you were talking about the structural evaluation assessment program, see, I would like if you can shed more light on the accessor, how you approach your accessor. Is it your immediate superior that accesses you? Who do you relate with when it comes to your training needs? These are not, really properly outlined. Perhaps maybe you had so many things you were going to talk and you are looking at the time. You didn't go so much deep into it. So if you don't mind, sir, can you just kindly go through the issue of SPADEP, the accessor, and how you approach your accessor and how you equally state your training needs to the accessor? Thank you very much, sir.
All right, noted, Ismail. Please, at this note, I don't want to entertain any hand raising again, but let me just take, okay, thank you, that's Anyton. Put it down. So Anyton, quick one. Anyton,
yes, sir. Good evening, sir. My name is
now I've got to go and
Mosaku.
rest.
Yes, my name is Mosaku Adetola Eneton. I want to appreciate my Oga Kalesa. Ekujo meta, sir. Yes, sir. We really want to appreciate you. The way you
Your
have
ministry.
Ministry of Environment, on behalf of Ministry of Environment, I want to say a very big thank you. But ṣe ń kọ́ wa nígbà tẹ́ wà pẹ̀lú wa, a tún learn a lot lálẹ́ yìí. We really want to say thank you. Ẹ ṣé gan, sir. The Lord God Almighty will uphold you to the last. You will be relevant in every aspect of life, sir. Amen. So I really want to say thank you because you are once with us in Ministry of Environment. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Anyton. Aremu, I believe you want to say thank you too.
Hello? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Ọ̀gá, ẹ ṣé gan, àlùwà yín tì sá o. Ọlọ́run fún ilé mi gígùn sá. At least iye eléyìí tí ẹ tiẹ̀ ṣe fún àwọn head of the education department tẹ wá ṣe fún wa ní kápá. Àìrọ̀gbọ́n kan bẹ́ẹ̀, èyí tẹ tún ṣe fún wa yín náà. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí Ọlọ́run fún ilé mi gígùn láti máa fi tọ́ wa sóye. Then Mr. Jamiu, I want to ask a question. Is it only when we have an oral promotion exam we'll be having something like this? Can't we make it maybe once in a month? Because this is something that will bring us back.
Mr. Aremu, I've sent our channel to the group. We run our program 2 times in a month, every Sunday in a month. But we do the special package. Every year, we normally extract a special package for promotion exercise. But normal, after the promotion, we run every Sunday, twice in a month.
In fact, thank
So
you.
if you are on our Telegram channel, you'll be seeing updates. I will send the Telegram link on our WhatsApp link. You'll be seeing updates.
Yeah.
So
we
started this program since 2023.
Thank you very much on that. A lot of us have lost to artists on
so I'm going to send the link. Enjoy our channels. Update.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
much.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Let me start by saying I also appreciate Jide Paramole and other people, so numerous, Okpere, Ogunlewe, Adejumobi, I still remember you very well. And all, in fact, every other person, Aremu, up to Aremu, Mosaku, Doboyi, I thank you. And I want to say one thing, let it be very clear. You are actually part of my success story. Because gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń dúpẹ́ yẹn mo rí pé ẹ̀yin tó jẹ́ one way or the other àtijọ́ ṣiṣẹ́ rí tàbí tọ́nà wa àtijọ́ cross rí ni. If you have not helped me one way or the other, you have actually tasked me to know that I need to do more. So thank you very much for the appreciation. Now, Bangbade Sonny, you said, who is the accounting officer in the Treasury office? Is it the permanent secretary or accountant general? I will answer the question by going into history. I don't know whether you all know that at some point, the accountant general is not usually tagged as permanent secretary. Same with the auditor general. They are just accountant general, auditor general. But government was trying to be magnanimous because our Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, tí wọ́n ṣe salary level yẹn tó dẹ̀ sọ pé they will earn their salaries for life. Wọ́n accommodate accountant general mọ́ permanent secretary àti auditor general mọ́ permanent secretary. So if they retire at that level, don't they hold that sensitive post, they won't enjoy the benefits that want to serve in their equal capacity to only share. That's one. Then in Lagos State, we believe in the fact that if you are a permanent secretary, you must be upwardly mobile. They can move you to anywhere, anytime. So to allow those who occupy that post too, to enjoy that kind of fluidity and mobility, ni wọ́n ṣe ń fún wọn ní status of permanent secretary mọ́. But by the constitution, which establishes those agencies, tó dẹ̀ sọ pé orúkọ wọn shall be accountant general and auditor general. Accountant general is the accounting officer. Permanent secretary is the accounting officer in other ministries. But in this STO level, accountant general status, ẹ̀dẹ̀ rí pé ẹnìkan náà tó bá jẹ́ accountant general, òun náà ń pè permanent secretary. Abẹ́ ti gbọ́ bí wọ́n ti yan ẹnìkan lọ́tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ní ìwọ ló máa ṣe PAMSEC, ìkejì ló máa ṣe accountant general. Kò ṣẹlẹ̀ rí o. I hope that clears that for Bangbade Sonny. Then the Ismail Agubambi, you are asking on issue of SPADEV. Now, what I said, let me explain it in a simpler way. Sheri SPADEV here, kí ni full meaning here? Staff Performance Appraisal and Development Form. If you look at it, two works ló ń ṣe. The first side of the work is performance appraisal. The second side is performance development. Performance appraisal ni pé, okay, kí ló ṣe, kí la lè sọ pé ó gbà fáwọn iṣẹ́ tó ṣe. But when it gets to the area of development, kí làwọn training tó need? Kí ni ibi tó kù díẹ̀ tó ṣe dáadáa tá score ẹ tó yẹ ká fún ẹ ní bóyá ṣe mọ̀ pé wọ́n introduce red letter day wọ́n introduce ẹ̀. Wọ́n ní wọ́n á fún wọn ní letter láti show pé ó ṣe dáadáa o for this year o tàbí you didn't do well o improve next year. That is the area of development. And usually in this SPADEF, if you read it very well, there are some columns there to say, okay, assessor ti assess, do you agree? Ara won't be meeting point in here. Training needs to fẹ́ wàá kọ́ assessor náà níbi tó máa kọ́ ètò rò kó yẹ kó ṣe. Ara won't be meeting points in here, and those are very critical that you must note. So I think I've addressed all the questions that I noted from this round. And once again, I want to thank all of you. But before I actually close, I think I must stand out, apart from the leadership of Association of Senior Civil Servants, I must stand out Mr. Jamiu Onosoya. Sherry, kò yé many people bó ṣe yé àwa kan o. Jamiu, don't feel embarrassed. I just want to tell them some truths. Jamiu tẹ́rí tó wá organize tí gbogbo wa fi ń lẹ́nu yìí started from the civil service, from public service office as a driver. Driver ni tó ń wa head of service. Ìgbà yẹn tó head of service ní kàn tiẹ̀ gbé sí pool. Ó wa èmi gan rí. Ó wa ìyàwó mi rí. But today you can imagine a Jamiu that started as a driver, now putting up a platform like this and inviting us to come and learn. Sherite, ọ̀rọ̀ nú ẹ̀. And whenever I see him and I call him Jamo the Tuti, most people will motumwe. He's a master in his field. He is one of the very few, Timorito Jekwe, yes. He has a multiplicity of talents and is using it. Ọlọ́run á ràn ẹ́ lọ́wọ́, wàá ju bó ṣe rò lọ o. Ó tiẹ̀ tí ibi tó tiẹ̀ rò pé ó máa ibi táwọn ẹgbẹ́ ẹ parí sí kọ́ ló wà ó ti kọjá ẹ o. Ó dẹ̀ máa tún jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Thank you very much for this honor. I really appreciate all of you. I pray for you. You will find it easy. Just comport yourself. The gravitas area, low important you. If you don't comport yourself, you are not doing anything. And you are not helping even yourself. Thank you and God bless.
All right, let me see your emojis. Thank you so much, sir. Sir.
All right.
And okay, I'm trying to, someone is trying to, no time again. I'm sorry. Okay, distinguished colleagues. So as we come to our end of this very impactful session, I want to extend our profound appreciation to everyone who joined us this evening. I'm sorry, Ubegu, I believe we have answered all your questions, not until I saw one now, and due to the time, we cannot visit that. So your participation, engagement, and the dedication to continuous learning reflects the true spirit of a progressive public service. A very special appreciation goes once again to our facilitator, Mr. Abiodun Bangboye, Commissioner 2, Teaching Service Commission, for the depth of knowledge, clarity, and practical wisdom he has shared with us. Sir, your guardians has strengthened our understanding of the oral interview processes, and we are truly grateful for your commitment to supporting our officers across the service. To all members of Public Service Knowledge Hub, thank you for your consistency and engagement, eagerness to grow. What we are gained today is not just for the upcoming promotions, it is for our professional journey, our daily conduct, and our contribution to excellence in public service. So as we continue to with the 2026 promotion tutorial, we encourage everyone to stay connected, stay prepared, and stay confident. More enriching sessions are coming your way. Tomorrow we are having another, we are bringing a professional from our budget to come and do justice to their 2026 budget to us. Never can tell. Question can come anywhere, as Oga say. So, and tomorrow on Sunday again, we are still with you. And like I said, after this provincial exercise, we are on every Sunday. We will go back to our every Sunday program. Please join us to learn more. This platform is just an opportunity platform for us. One, to bring all public servants together. Two, to learn day to day, to refresh our memory, to learn new things. Like a teacher, as a public servant, people, if anybody see you outside and see you say, they believe you know everything. They don't know that you are a doctor. They don't know that you are an engineer. They don't know that you are a public admin officer. So they just ask you question, because they don't even know who is who. So that's why we started this initiative for you to know what is going on in your neighborhood office. You have to know everything. So once again, I give a thank you to our facilitator and a very round thank you to our Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria. We have many associations, but this is the only association that care for us, care about our development, care about our welfareism, care about our career. Imagine we have a association member for teachers and others, but this particular association care. They call on me. How can we expand this thing to extend it to other? Before our program here, we have only 300, 500 capacity, but with their collaboration, we extend it to 1,000. They paid for it. It's not by money. They pay for it. It's a large money for it, so that we are benefiting for now. So thank you so much once again, Association of Senior Citizens of Nigeria. Kudos to you. Please, I urge you, extend your contribution to our every Sunday, because this program, I'm sponsoring this program by myself through my purse from my salary. But we thank God that it's well known today, people are coming. So I will urge Union to help us again and extend this further. Thank you so much once again. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bamboe, sir. God bless you, sir. I would love to be younger like you, sir, when I get there, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir. Bye, everyone.